Welcome on in, guys, to the StreamYard studio. Welcome in for another exciting interview. And yet today, we have someone who's already inside the studio, and yet let's not waste any time. Please help me welcome in the one, the only, Miss Sarah Cook.
Hi guys, how are you?
How are you? Sorry about the technical difficulties.
No, it's all good. Stuff happens, especially with technology. It's crazy.
It is to say the least. But first of all, I want to say it's an honor to get a chance to have such an incredible fighter, such as you are, to join me. And I gotta say, what's been going on? What have you been up to lately?
Nothing. Ever since my last fight, just really been in the gym, cracking down, getting in there 6 days a week. Um, my coach wants me in there Monday and through to Saturday. Will not lie, I have been lacking on my Saturday sparrings, but jobs and life does get in the way, but we will reconvene on Saturday next week. So I'll be sparring Saturdays.
Well, hey, I mean, at least you get a chance to do that, and yet you talked about that. We'll get to your first ever pro fight that you had a couple of weeks ago later on, but yet, I gotta tell you, whenever we first talked, I mean, whenever you said, "Hey, I want to be interviewed," I'm like, "Say no more, say no more," to say the least. And I've seen your fights. You're such an incredible fighter, and if you guys want to get to follow such an amazing fighter such as Sarah, be sure to follow her on Instagram at Sarah_the Predator. So yet. You know, so many incredible things have been happening as of late, but yet, let's go ahead and get things started. Is that what inspired you to start fighting?
Um, so really my dad, to be honest, that's always been my inspiration. My dad has always been my inspiration for everything, but fighting was a big one because he is a brown belt in Taekwondo, and um he's a military vet, and I wanted to follow in his footsteps somehow. So I continued his fight legacy.
Well, that's definitely awesome to say the least. I mean, at least you're carrying it from your dad, and I know how much your dad is proud of you for becoming the fighter and. Of course, what you're doing, to say the least. You currently train at JG. I asked you about that, and you know, how much has they helped you, especially when it comes to all these fights and all the training? How much has JG meant to you?
So JGMMA has meant the world to me. They have changed my life for the better over and over and over again. So not just once over, but multiple times. And with me being in this for 15 plus years, I've had times where I've fallen off, and taken my breaks and tried to venture off into other things, and the grace of God just kept bringing me back because this is where I'm meant to be. This is where I've been molded, and this is what I was born to do.
I definitely do admire that, Staley, especially with how much you have overcome. I mean, 15 years. I mean, so many different amateur fights that you got a chance to be a part of, and we've all had something to be able to inspire us, to be able to keep us going. What has been your biggest motivation whenever you go to training, whenever you get ready for a fight? What motivates you to keep going?
Um, the kids, and now my daughter. So I've always been in this to show kids that sky's not the limit. You always hear that saying, reach for the stars. No, reach beyond the stars. There's so much more beyond the stars that, we can go for. And I'm a mom, and my 3-year-old comes into the gym with me, and just watching her pick up and do what I do helps me push forward to be able to show her that there's more to life than just video games and things like that. But get out there and do a sport that's going to better your health, better your youth, and help them push forward and hope.
I definitely do like that. I definitely admire that, and I really think that all the kids who don't realize how much it'll help you out in the long run. I mean, you talked about your three-year-old little girl. I mean, she's going to the gym with you. She's starting to understand, even just at such a younger age, what all this means. And to me, whenever I think about the next generation of fighters. I mean, we can build them. We can build the next generation of fighters and tell them like, hey, you don't really need a game. You don't really need your phone to be able to keep you happy. Because
Right.
when you first get into training, when you first get in there, and feel that second family that the whatever you train at can help and make an impact on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my big thing is leaving a legacy, and I want to leave a legacy with her coming up to, be better than me, push
Yeah.
further than me, and do bigger things than me. I don't want there to ever be a limit. My coach always says, um, we are our own limitations, and we really are. Like, if you tell yourself you can only do a certain thing, you're only going to do that certain thing. And a quote that I like to live by and I love hearing is, I will always be where I always been if I always do what I've always done. So just, I mean, do more, push further, every day get better.
I definitely do admire that, and I definitely respect that. And of course, you out of all people know about the page. You see the women, but you also see the inspiration side. And when I think about someone that's either going through depression, anxiety, but people don't realize that if you can go to a gym, it can help you. It can help you whatever you're feeling. I mean, you can be able to you can pretty much just let it out at a gym
Oh yeah,
because you'll have family, you'll have people that will understand. And if you want to punch something, I mean, go punch a bag, go do something to let anything out. And I can't stress that enough. I mean, it's good for your mental health. It'll help you in the long run.
absolutely. It's a great outlet. It's a great outlet, even for kids. Like our kids that we have at the gym, our kids' jujitsu class, man, they are savages. Like they do things that I wish I could do. Like they go out on that mat just fearless of anything, and they come off, you know, ready to ready to do more, ready to get better. And I love watching the kids grow.
I mean, even though you're already a parent, I mean, it seems like that even though those kids are at the gym, are kind of like your own kids, especially with how much you're teaching them and how much you want them to understand.
Oh, absolutely.
We talked about your experience, Lowell, and I'm hoping I got this right, but you've had 15 amateur fights. 15 amateur fights, am I correct?
Yeah, that's the ones that are on paper. I've
Yeah.
had probably that much or more when places weren't sanctioned. Like Indiana wasn't sanctioned for a long time, so the fights that you have in Indiana never went on Tapology or Dog Shred. I mean, they never got anywhere. No one ever knew you had those. So I've had so much experience on this mat. It's literally home. When I walk in there, I feel safe, I feel secure, and I feel at home. That's my second home.
Well, I mean, you talked about that, and you talked about the amount of fights that you've had. I mean, and we'll talk about your pro fight here in a few. But the thing is that with the amount of experience, with the amount of knowledge you've had with all these fights, do you ever just look back and think about where you started to where you are now?
Absolutely. Every day I think about like where I started and where I am now. And I always think too, I'm like, I wish that when I started, I would have been smarter and I would have really played the game a little differently. Because at a point I was fighting twice a month. Like I would go fight in Indiana where they weren't sanctioned, knowing that I have a fight coming up, just to get as many fights in as I can. And I know a lot of OGs, back in the day did that. They were just fighting every weekend if they could. And I kind of wish that I would have been, let's see, I wish I would have had the coaches that I have now back then, because I'd probably be a lot further than I am right now.
I definitely, and I think people will understand is that your record. You showed how much you can do. You showed how much heart and how much you desire and how much you love the sport of MMA. And I'm going to talk about something that's heavy on your heart. And I asked you to send me this, and so I'm going to pull it up real quick. Is explain this photo to me and how much this means to you.
So this photo right here, if everybody else can see it, is something that will always mean the world to me, because there are legends, not just one, not just two, there are multiple legends in this photo. The gentleman that you see over on my far left, holding his hand up in a diamond. If nobody knows what that diamond means, that is our logo. we tell everyone to raise your diamonds. We are raising ourselves high to a higher standard. And we raise that diamond in pride. And he's over there raising his diamond. His name, we call him Simboa, and his name is Jeremy. He really did play a part in my Muay Thai journey. He was one of our Muay Thai coaches and one of the best Muay Thai coaches that we had. And he not only did he make my Muay Thai better, but he shaped my mind. He bettered my health. He pushed me forward when I was hitting a wall. So, I mean, that man is there. George is standing right behind me, as everyone knows, is a UFC legend. And the fact that he took time out of his day to be behind me and sit outside the cage to tell me what to do is just, it's mind-blowing in itself. And to know that he is, I respect him so much because he doesn't just have his name on a building. He's in there every day working twice as hard as everyone in there. He shows up early. He stays late. He's motivated to all of his students, not just one individual. And he pushes you more than you would think you would ever be able to push yourself. This man is incredible and has played a very, very dramatic part in my journey. And the man next to him, we call him Coach Fluffy. His name is Dave Reeves. He came into our lives, I want to say about 6 or 7 years ago. And before he came along, our gym we were a sweatshop. We ran the old school garages and we got buildings that were cheap and in, strip malls. We never really had a multi-school like we do now. He came in and just swarmed the gym with good vibes and promotion and so many things that we could have never dreamed of. I mean, now we're selling clothes, we're selling merchandise. We have everything everybody needs when they come in the gym. As far as gis, they no longer have to go online to find one. They can buy them straight through us. Pads, shin guards for Muay Thai. And he's built this school from the ground up with George side by side in such a partnership, and has taken over the MMA program and just made some monsters. We've gone more places than we could ever imagine because he's put his heart into all of us, and we can't appreciate him anymore. No. We don't know how to show him more appreciation than what they have all done for us.
That is definitely incredible because, I asked you, if not yesterday, the day before, is like, what are some photos? What is something that means to you now? And I think when people know the stories they have with the gentleman and I definitely think people can admire the diamond part. I mean, I think people can understand it. I think people can learn it. And I think when people start watching this interview or get a chance to listen to us very soon, I think people can see like, hey, show off your diamond, and that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what he did. I think it's always an awesome. I think it's always a great time for you to get a chance to have the support, especially the UFC fighters, all those guys by your side, to say the least. And I think we all know what I'm about to ask next. And talk about your journey. You went through some of the good times. You went through some of the best times in your life. But I want to ask you, what has been some of the toughest parts of your journey?
Yeah, I think a lot of people will. I know for one person will agree with me for sure. I had just came back off of a 3-year layoff. I took 3 years to myself and just kind of got away. I was in the gym every now and then, but I wasn't very active. I wasn't fighting. I wasn't, and my name that was starting to kind of build something for itself kind of went away. And I wasn't keeping my legacy going. I kind of got out of it. And then as soon as I get back in, I'm training, I'm losing weight, I'm getting in fight shape, and I have a fight on the books. I'm getting ready to go. I'm in fight camp, and I had to come in and tell my coaches I was pregnant and I wouldn't be able to fight. And anybody that knows me and knows my fight journey knows that I bleed red for MMA. I bleed diamonds for JG, and it is what I'm here for. This is my calling. This is what God put me here to do for some reason, and I'm just trying to figure it out. And the moment that I had to tell him that, I remember just breaking down into tears because I knew it was going to be at least another year and a half. Here I am having to sit out another year and a half between 9 months of pregnancy and then a healing process. And then the time it's going to take me to lose weight, which ended up being almost 2.5 years before I even got to fight again. And it was really hard. It was one of the hardest moments in my life, having to tell them that, you know, I'm not going to be able to fight. I'm working hard for nothing right now because I've just worked my butt off and now I can't do what I live to do.
Yeah.
And this is something that I set my mind to, that I'm going to make a career. I have one goal in mind, and that is to make it to the UFC. And I'm going to do everything and grind as hard as I can to get there. So I have no reason when I'm done to be able to say, well, I wish I would have done more. I'm going to do all I can now, so I don't have a reason to wish I would have done more. And that was just, that was really hard for me to have to do that.
Well, I definitely do appreciate you get a chance to open up to me, especially with the journey, because I think whenever people start watching this, that people can admire what you're doing. People can, admire the heart, because, and I feel like that with you as a fighter, you took some time off and he's like, okay, I'm ready to come back, but he ended up being pregnant. But the one thing I think, you don't realize is that, with all that, you were still fighting. You were still fighting to be able to keep going. You were fighting to be able to get to where you are. I mean, you went through that time of, of a lot of toughness. I mean, there was a lot tough on your heart,
Right.
and I can definitely tell it was. But the one thing I definitely do admire is that even though you went through the hardest part, but guess what? You went through it, and you're still here with us today. So first
right.
of all, I definitely do admire you, and I think people can understand that can be touched by your story. I'm already touched enough just by, what you're doing, to say the least. And I feel like in my heart is that people can see that everyone has a darkness that they go through in life. That was your darkness.
No,
But guess what? The light shine on you. You went through it, and now, I mean, you're a mom to a beautiful, beautiful girl. You're a mom to your kids, and know that. But you're still doing what you do best, being a fighter. So I definitely do appreciate you for continue to not give up, because I know it's hard, and I know it's difficult, to say the least. But at least you have a story to be able to inspire others, to inspire moms who are currently trying to fight right now, but could end up being pregnant. So one thing I definitely want you to do is that after this interview is that anytime if you get the opportunity to share the story, share it, because you don't know how much of an impact you can make.
no, thank you.
Talking about your pro fight, I gotta say you got a chance to take on Miranda Deering back at B2, and I think it was like maybe you didn't get a chance to know until 7 days. It's like you had 7 days until boom, you get ready to fight. So
It wasn't even that. I didn't even have 7 days. I had 48 hours.
what?
I got a call. So, I'm guessing her fighter backed out or whatever happened with medicals, or God hopes she didn't get hurt. I really hope that she didn't get injured and that's why she couldn't fight. But I get a call on Wednesday and Coach Fluffy was like, hey, do you want to make your pro debut? And I'm like, well, yeah, isn't this what we've been training like crazy for and you've been killing me for? Like, yeah, I want to make my pro debut. And the next thing that I hear is, okay, well, it's at, I took a catch weight because it was so close. He's like, it's at 150. So we're going to meet tomorrow to get in the sauna and cut that weight because we have to travel to Alabama on Friday for weigh-ins. And I was like, hold on a minute. Hold on. I was like, and then I had to think to myself, like, it's go time. Like, this is my moment, and this is what I've been waiting for. Win or lose, I'm a pro. And I've been training for years for this moment right here. And we're making it happen. Whether I've got to cut 20 pounds right now, or who cares? Like, I'm going. Like, we're going. Am I fighting right now? Because put me in, coach. I'm ready. Like, we can go. So came in Thursday, and Coach Elena sat in the sauna with me, and I can never be more grateful for that woman as well. Like, having a training partner that's a female for a female is incredible. I can't thank her enough for what she does. She sat in there the entire time with me, and I cut 10 pounds. And Friday, I had to come back in Friday morning and cut a little bit more. But I came in Friday morning, and then as soon as I got done cutting weight, we hit the road for an 8-hour trip to Alabama. And I weighed in, made weight, and Saturday, I ended up losing to a split decision, but I went from 3 3-minute rounds, which is a total of 9 minutes, to 3 5-minute rounds, 15 minutes with a girl who's just down to bang. Like, she's not, Miranda Deering is not a joke. And, I had no clue who she was. I had no time to look her up. But at that moment, I was like, it doesn't matter who's in front of me. Who's ever in front of me is in my way. I need to move them out of my way. So, here we are.
And I kept thinking, like, yeah, it's like maybe 7 days, but no, less than 48 hours though. That's like mind blowing.
Yeah.
Mind blowing to say the least. Did you ever expected that to happen so soon?
No. No. So I knew that going pro, this could probably be a circumstance at some point that I was going to get a last minute fight, which was fine. It was all good name, but I didn't know I was getting like a last minute fight, like literally counting down the minutes. And so when that happened, like, my whole body just leaped for let's go. Like, we're going. And, I thought to myself the whole time, I'm like, you know what? I want to make it to the UFC. And I'm never going to do that planning out fights and planning out fight camps. If they called me today, could I be ready? If they called me tomorrow, could I be ready? Like, that was what was going through my head when I hit that 48-hour time mark. And I'm like, this is the time I have to show myself and everyone else that I will be ready no matter what to go against whoever they want to throw in front of me. If you have I'm just showing the world that if you have an injury, you can call me. I'm going to make the weight, and I'm going to be there ready to fight and ready to be in somebody's face, because I have a goal here, and I'm not backing down. I'm ready.
No, and I definitely can say is that, and I've learned this a lot of times, whether it's interviews or I've seen it in fights, is that you better be ready for whatever's about to happen. If there's an open door, you better go ahead and go right through it and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity and grab it because it's mine.
Right.
That's exactly what you did, is that you pretty much, out of 48 hours, you didn't know what was going to happen, but yet you went in there, and yet you're no longer an amateur now. You're finally a pro that you worked so hard for, to say the least. And congratulations on that. But yet,
Thank you.
But the one thing I definitely do see in you from watching your fights and watching to see how you are as a person, as a fighter, is that you are very, very humble. You are a very, very humble fighter, because I like that mentality. I like that because people will say that I'm gonna go in and go right through them. No, you say that whoever's in my way, I'm gonna get in your face. I'm gonna get in your face, and we're gonna fight. I don't care if it's last minute. Call me. I like that, and that describes the person about you, and describes you as a fighter. And I feel like the best is yet to come for you.
I feel the same way, and I've always been that way. I've never been one to be a keyboard bully or a keyboard hero trying to talk crap to my opponent, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to talk crap about you, because I'm going to look dumb when I lose. I'm going to look dumb when I win. I represent the people that are standing behind me in that cage. And when my lips start flying, their name starts getting shoved in the mud. And that's not who I am. That's never been who I am. I want to represent who represents me in the best light possible and show them that we handle our business when the cage door shuts. I don't need to handle it here.
And I think one thing to say is that you don't really let the mouth talk, but even before the fight, you let the fist do the talking. That's the only thing that you can really do, to say the least.
That's
Because
right.
one thing I like about you is that you're not the one to talk. You show your respect to your opponents, and you give it everything that you have, to say the least. And I think the biggest question that we all want to know is what's next for the Predator. What is next for you?
So what is next? We're trying to get a spot for April 2nd at the moment. Um, but I'm just taking one step at a time to do everything I can to get on the stage that I want to be on. I will not quit until I've at least made my UFC debut. I don't care how many lives I got to do. I don't care how many interviews I got to do, how many people I got to go through. Give me the best of the best. Give me the best in the world. I will run through them to, or at least try. I might just, flop because I hit a brick wall, but we're still going to try. And the fact of the matter is, if I'm standing in front of one of the best in the world and she's hitting me like a Mack truck and I'm standing back up ready to face her again, that proves something. That proves that my heart is just in it to win it. And it's just, I can't explain how much I love this career and how much I want to be here. Like,
I feel like you're meant to be here. You're meant to be a part of this community because you're pretty much your actions spoke a lot more louder than words. Because it doesn't matter about your win loss record. It doesn't really matter because you do something that nobody else couldn't. I mean, people can talk crap outside of the cage, but yet it is you the one that goes in that cage. It is you the one that faces someone to see who's the best. And I think people can really admire that, the heart, the desire, and the willingness to be able to win. And I thought about this for quite some time. And, we all want to be remembered as something while we're either doing interviews, fighting, whatever it may be. So, what is something you want people to let you know as a fighter and, of course, as a person outside of the cage?
so I mean, as a fighter, I want them to, I want them to see that I'm a savage. No matter what circumstance I'm in, I'm ready to go. No matter who's put in front of me, I'm not backing down. And no matter how much sweat, blood, and tears that I have to go through, I'm gonna go through it to get where I want to be. But as a person in life, I want them to look at me as a giving, hopeful, you know, so, I don't someone who wants to go for their dreams, but at the same time, bring you with me. If I could bring everybody in the world with me on this journey, I would. If I could help every local business, I would. I don't reach out for the huge big sponsors. I reach out for the mom and pop shops. I reach out for the local small businesses because I want to watch them grow as I push them forward. Everybody's always like, well, they can't give you much money. That's not what I'm all about right now. I'm small time. So why act like I'm big time, and why just represent these people who already have everything they want when I could go out here and reach out to somebody who is trying to make it and help push them forward. Like, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have somebody believing in me and believing that I could do big things and pushing me forward. So I just want people out in the world that don't know me as a fighter to see how loyal and trusting and humble I am, and you know, what a light I am. I want to shine God's light wherever I can to show them that, you know, when you need me, I'm here. No matter what you need, where you're at, I'm always here.
And I really think about this, and I spend a lot of time thinking, especially when it comes to how incredible you are as a fighter and as a person, that you're always the one who's always willing to help out whatsoever. And you talked about you don't care to help out local businesses. I mean, as small of a interview as I am, I mean, you reached out to me, and I can honestly say it warmed my heart up a lot because, like, hey, this could be something really incredible to say. I got so excited that before I'm like, let's go. I'm like, because you're truly an incredible fighter. You're truly an incredible person, and I think people can see that through this interview and through what you're doing outside of the interviews. And I really think that you had big things coming your way because, you know, and this is why I build the Fighting Now. This is why I build the page because of aspiring fighters like you who has a story on the inside, but on not only that, but on the outside as well. Is that you went through a lot of stuff. You went through the hell, and you're still here. You have a story, and I really think that once when people can see the fighter in you that you are, whether if they're fighting mental health, whatever it may be, that people can just look up to you and think, wow, I need to be just like Sarah Cook. I need to be a warrior. I need to be a fighter. I need to show that I cannot give up and not bring me down. Because whenever you get knocked down, you get back up. And people need to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite songs is by a Christian woman named Medusa. And she has a song called You're a Warrior. And it is absolutely an incredible song because, it brings women and men out in the light to encourage them that no matter what they're going through, you're a warrior. You can fight through this. Just, one more rep or one more push, one more chemo can get you through it and you can push through. Just lean on God and you can get through this. And I love listening to that song when I'm driving to my fights or, waiting on things. That's something that's literally in my ears. If you ever see my headphones on when I'm backstage or when I'm in a car.
Yeah. Well, with me, I don't know if you can be able to see this, but it says warrior on there. And the reason why I had that is because I remind myself and also try to remind other people that, hey, you are a warrior. And to me, my song that makes me feel like, I can be able to get up and to continue going. Two different songs, Imagine Dragon, Whatever It Takes, and then Feel Invincible by Skillet. Those are my two
Yeah.
songs
Yes.
that
I love
get me hyped.
Skillet.
Oh, I love them, and I don't know if you even heard of them. Red. I also listen to a lot of Red. Red is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can go
Yeah.
on and on.
Skillet's one of my favorites. I love Skillet. Like they have a good message behind everything.
They definitely do that. And your Red. I got a chance to see Red twice, and Red. In case people don't know what it means, it stands for redemption. It stands
Hmm.
for redemption, and if people are a fan of the screamo, it's definitely their perfect cup of tea. But if you don't like the screamo, no, it's not for you. It's not for you because I've had people who I used to go to church with. They'll like listen to like all their Christian stuff, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
and uh, sorry about that. I don't know what just happened. Just lost power, but hopefully we're still on.
Oh, I still see you.
Okay, my apologies, but yeah. So I had people that started to listen to like other different like Cast and Crowns, and then there's me. I think I lost power again. So
Well, I can still see you. You're not cutting out. So,
if I
and
cut
just
out,
for you guys, I'm live on Facebook too. So we are out here doing the thing.
that's
You guys
awesome.
on Facebook can see we're doing an interview. My messy daughter's playroom, but we're doing an interview with the Fighting Now. Guys, go check him out on Instagram. He is amazing.
And of course, you guys can check her out, Sarah the Predator Cook. And for some reason, I don't know what's going on. It's a beautiful day here, and for some reason, my power keeps going in and out. I don't know what's happening, to say the least. But as I'm saying, is that I'd be that one metalhead that would listen to like Red and Skillet, and then I get weird looks from my friends like, "Do you really listen to that?" I'm like, "Listen to the message, and you'll see."
Yeah.
But is there any final comments you want to say before we hop off the air? I'm gonna go to a different room, so whatever happens, happens. So,
I just want to thank you, first of all, for having me on your show. And then I want to thank everybody else for watching. Thank you guys who are on the Facebook Live and on the Instagram Live. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and just keep following my journey, because I can promise you I'm going to do big things no matter how hard I got to work at them. And
Well,
that's going to be pretty hard, but I'm here for the journey, so y'all can hop on with me.
well, not only that, but yet you also got probably one of the biggest hype man there is when it comes to the fighting now. So yet you already know I got your back. I got your back, and I do this to every interview. I keep telling myself I'm not worthy of all this. I'm not worthy, so I'm not worthy to get a chance to have you on. But and one thing I gotta say, since I still have power right now, is that you are an amazing fighter. You are an incredible mom, and you are doing so many incredible things. And I'm gonna tell you this because I don't think people have told you this today. I am proud of you. I'm proud of you for a lot of things. I'm proud of you for keep fighting. I'm proud of you for keep going. And I'm proud of you for standing tall like you are today. You are inspiring other women, you're inspiring fighters, and you're inspiring myself. So really, truly, it's always incredible to get a chance to have an amazing fighters like you to get a chance to join me.
Well, thank you. And I'll speak for all of the women of WMMA. Like, thank you so much for being such a huge fan and supporting us in such the big way that you do. Like, for a long time, women didn't have the support that we have now. And it's people like you that make our support so much bigger every single day. And we can't thank you enough for it.
It's definitely an honor, and I keep telling myself this as my power keeps going back in and out, is that I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for all of you. I fight for those who deserve the platform. I don't care if you're amateur. I don't care if you're pro. Come join me, and you'll get the recognition you deserve. I mean, about the page, it's more than just the sexy side, and all that. It's about the heart. It's about the desire that you women have, because you're the ones that sacrificing everything, your effort, your mentality to be able to be where you are today.
Right.
And I think people can just really admire that. And I'm always going to be a fan of women's MMA. I'm always going to be a fan of all women's combat sports because they deserve to feel like they're special. So many incredible fighters out there. I don't care who it is. That's what the fighting now is all about. The spotlights, the recognition. And as long as I'm here, I'm going to keep continuing doing this for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. But yet, is that it? Is there anything else you want to say?
Nope. I just thank you guys for everything, and thank you for having me.
I definitely do appreciate it. You're more than welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, that was. And by the way, once again, if you guys want to get a chance to didn't do that. Follow her at Sarah_the Predator. And is there any other social media accounts that you have that you want people to follow you on?
I mean, I have Facebook. It's just my name, just Sarah Cook. So you can always follow my journey on Facebook as well. So.
Very well said. Make sure you guys get a chance to follow her. And yet, that is our time here today. I encourage you guys to go out, check out Sarah, and yet come back because we have another interview coming up in store for you. It is Letitia Mole. Try not to butcher it, to say the least. Follow Sarah, follow her journey, and just keep on being you. Okay, girl?
Thanks. You too, man.
All right. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys later.